Om Agyanatamarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshmalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dhanti Sambadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapata Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Jijivam Sadvaitam Sadvutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakana Lalita Shri Vishaditam Jam Hey Krishna Karna Sandhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kancha Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sudadevi Pranamani Hari Namarum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Devashesha Shunyavadi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I think today is also Bahulastami. So one of my favorite verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. It's described, there are 12 cantos, and the first canto is like the feet, and then the second canto, a little higher, and the third canto. And then it's been described, the 10th canto is the smiling face of Krishna. But it's also, Acharyas have also said, the 10th canto is like the heart. So obviously your heart is an important part of the body. And according to Ayurveda, within the heart, there are 5 life airs. So we have life airs. There are gross life airs, subtle life airs within the body. For instance, when you wake up, then generally you yawn, isn't it? And you stretch the body. So that stretching puts the life airs back into the, it reinvigorates the life airs. Because if you're asleep, someone can come and touch you on the leg and you don't feel it. But when you're awake, you feel it. So that stretching of the body and that yawning, these are life airs realigning themselves, if you like. So there are 5 life airs in the 10th canto. So what does that mean? 5 chapters. So what are those 5 chapters? Chapter 29. Chapter 29, Krishna and the gopis meet for the rasa dance. Chapter 30, the gopis search for Krishna. Chapter 31, the Gopis' Songs of Separation. Chapter 32, Reunion. And chapter 33, Rasa Dance. These are the 5 most intimate chapters in the whole 10th canto. And the 10th canto is the most intimate canto. Now, of those 5 chapters, which is the center? Which is the middle? You have to think a little bit now, you see, putting you on the spot. This is where you look at someone else, or alternatively, you look up. That's when you're at school. So what's the center? Again? 31. So what's 31? Gopi Geet. Geet, the song of the gopis. 18 verses, and it's the very sum and substance. And this Gopi Geet represents Vipralamba, which means separation from Lord Krishna. I'm going to have a garland put on me now. There we go. There we go. And then he blesses me. Very nice Vaishnava. So Gopi Geet, chapter 31, Vipralamba Setra. There's 2 moods. One is Sambhog and one is Vipralamba. Sambhog means union and Vipralamba means separation. And Srila Gaur-Govinda Maharaj has written that book, Embankment of Separation. 2 banks. One bank, Sambhog or union, where the gopis are united with Krishna, and then the other, separation, and then in the middle there's this river. Embankment of separation. So this verse, one of my favorite, Nisamyam Geetam Tad Anangavadanam Braja Krishna Grita Braja Striya Krishna Grita Manasa Sayatra Kanta Java Lola Kundala. When the young women of Vrindavan heard Krishna's flute song, which arouses romantic feelings, their minds were captivated by the Lord. They went to where their lover waited, each unknown to the others, moving quickly that their earrings, kundala, swung back and forth, swung back and forth. So, nisam, on hearing Gitam. So we have many Gitas. We start with Bhagavad Gita, and this is Bhagavad Gita fundamental. Prabhupada has used these words, fundamental and elementary. Although it is fundamental and elementary, and Prabhupada said A, B, C, D, still we're struggling to understand it. Am I correct? Even Bhagavad Gita. This is entry. Bhagavad Gita is entry. But in the Kali Yuga, we're not that advanced. And we need to go over this again and again, and so many courses on Bhagavad Gita, etc. So Nisam Gitam Tad Anangavadanam. Ananga is Cupid. So there's 2 Cupids. There is the one Cupid that hangs around here in the material world, and this is, Cupid is referred to as the king of lust. Lust. The attraction between male and female. It's very deep. I was sitting in my garden on the veranda today, and we have these bird baths. And I see the one bird come, and then the other bird came. One is the male, and one is the, go on, you can say it, female. Now, I didn't know which one was which, but I assumed the one that was in charge was the female. So they both took a little dip in that bird bath, and then the one flew away, then the other immediately followed. I assumed that was the male, because I would assume he was something they call henpecked, or in this case, bird-pecked. So there's the Cupid down here, and there's the Cupid up there. And the Cupid up there is Krishna. Nisamyam Gitam Tad Ananga. Ananga. My first disciple was called Ananga Manjari. And Ananga Manjari is a young gopi, the sister of Radharani. And she's 13, eternally 13. Can you imagine that? Never grows old. That would be quite useful and quite nice. So, wearing a blue silken sari. Of course, they wear many different colors because there's variety. But she's particularly known for blue. So, Ananga Manjari. Yusamyam Gitam Tad Ananga Vardhanam. Vardhanam means to increase or to fortify. So from the word Vardhanam, you have Govardhan. Govardhan hill nourishes the cows. Vardhanam means to nourish, to increase. So then Braja Striya. So Striya means lady or woman. But you can have young women or children, and then you're adolescent, and then a little bit older, and then like Mother Yasoda, and then like Mukara, elderly. So Striya means lady. Braja means the ladies of Braj. Braja Striya. Krishna, Braja Striya Krishna, Grita. Grita Manasa. So this is what I wanted to talk about, this word Grita. Grita means to seize, to capture. So the beauty of Krishna, Radha and Krishna, the beauty of Vrindavan, the sound of the flute, Grita, it seizes Radha Radhanath. These things seize the mind. Grita, our mind is seized. So we see that you were minding your own business, doing your nefarious activities some 10, 20, or 30 years ago, and somehow the Krishna seized you, isn't it? He captured you. Not like a terrorist, but not a bad type of terrorist, a good type of terrorist. And your mind was seized. It was seized. Gritaha manasa. Manasa, your mind was seized. Now materialists, their mind is seized, captivated, captured, exploited by material energy. So when the World Rugby comes on, They just got to turn it on. And they have to sit in front of the one-eyed guru. It was a guru, the telly box, the screen. And then for 90 minutes, is that correct? I wouldn't know about these things. For 90 minutes, they're in samadhi. Not even their finger moves. And they're staring, captivated. And then they feel emotions. South Africa, they score something or other, a conversion, I think it's called. And immediately the heartbeat goes up, pum, 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 pum. And they're happy. And then, who is it? Oh, New Zealand, they score depression. Where's the pills? So all these emotions come. And then when the final whistle is blown, what do? Jump up and down in their two-story, in their two-bedroom security flat somewhere in Phoenix or Queensborough. They jump up and down, and they celebrate. So their minds, Grita, were seized, completely seized, but by material energy. You can hear these birds. Can you hear them? Now their minds, they have small little minds compared to ours, but they're being seized by this impulse to make chirping sounds. And they're chirping. So Braja, Grita, Krishna, Grita, Manasa, one's mind is seized. So that's what happened to us. And we got a taste for Krishna consciousness. See how they stopped? But again they started. Grita. So our minds were seized. And we gave up sinful activity. And many of us even gave up our own family members, even as congregational members. Now you have certain people, and then suddenly they invite you for a braai or they invite you for a drink, and you don't go. And you distance yourself a little bit. I remember in 1973, I was living in Oxford in England, and I was studying for an exam, which wasn't a difficult exam. I would have passed it. And I was sitting down studying, and all thermodynamics and all the, actually mechanical engineering, if I have to really be honest. And I couldn't stop thinking of Krishna. Every time I was trying to x squared plus y, Hare Krishna, Krishna. This Krishna would come in my mind. And so I just closed the books, packed my suitcase, and I left. And that was it. I moved into the temple, and I never took that exam. So my mind, Grita, it was captured. So when the gopis hear the sound of Krishna's flute, their mind is captured. That sound goes into their ears and goes into their heart. And Krishna is known as a thief. We know, right? The month of Damodar. And Krishna, baby Krishna, what does he steal? Butter and yogurt and this and that. But another understanding is that Krishna enters the hearts of the gopis and steals their sobriety. What does that mean, sobriety? Soberness. It steals their chastity because the gopis have the conception that they're married. It's called abhiman. It's a Sanskrit word, abhiman. It wasn't a fact. The gopis actually weren't married in the spiritual world, but they have this conception that they were married. But when Krishna's pastimes take place in the material world, as they did 5,000 years ago, these conceptions become real. Abhiman, it means it's not a dream, it's a conception, like a man has a male abhiman. You have the conception that you're a man because you're living in a man's body, and a woman has a conception that she's a woman, and then women act in a certain way. They can't help it. And men act in a certain way. Abhiman, it's a conception. We're not male and we're not female. We're the soul. So in Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world, there is the conception the gopis are married, but when those pastimes come down to the material world in some Brahmanda, that conception by the arrangement of Yogamaya becomes real. So actually the gopis were married in some Brahmanda. Anyhow, the sound of Krishna's flute entered their heart, entered the ears, went to the heart, and it stole their shyness. Ladies, actually, it's a weapon, shyness. It's a weapon. It's not used so much nowadays. It's a bit redundant. But Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavatam, and I'll give you the reference, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 27. As a class, women are more powerful than men. They're more powerful than men. And Prabhupada gives the example, Cleopatra was able to control who? Was it Caesar or Antony? Therefore, powerful women should control this, and they control it with shyness. I don't have you want to look it up? Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 27. Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 27 or 28. And there it says, women as a class are more powerful than men. And then Prabhupada gives the example, Cleopatra. And then he says, such powerful women should be controlled by shyness. Therefore, shyness is important for ladies. So the gopis, their shyness was also exploited, taken away from them. And their chastity and their dharma, and even the sound of Krishna's flute took away their atma. Then the gopis, they ran to where Krishna was to reclaim their stolen goods. So now they're running. When the young women of Vrindavan heard Krishna's flute, which arouses romantic feelings, their minds were captivated. I said that, captivated. Grihita. They went to where their lover waited, each unknown to each other, and their earrings swung back and forth. So, by the arrangement of Yogamaya, each gopi is running to where Krishna is, on the bank of the Jamuna, or perhaps on the bank of Radhakund, and they don't see each other. They don't see each other. They think, I'm the only one. And Rupa Goswami explains when Krishna plays his flute, Ujjvala Namani, chapter 4, 1 billion gopis came to him on the bank of the river Jamuna. Now 1 billion. So immediately they can't see each other, but there's 1 billion. Because if you go to see your lover and there's 10 other people there, it's not very private. Am I correct? Where's the privacy? There's no privacy. So what to speak of 100 or 100,000? You know, they're all queuing up. Or 1 billion. There's no privacy. There's no privacy. There's no intimacy. Where can the intimacy be? No, it's like you're at the South African rugby match. There's 100,000 people. There's no privacy. So Yoga Maya arranges that each gopi is thinking, I'm the only one there. I can only see only Krishna. And in the sound of his flute, he is calling my name. The sound of each gopi's name was in the flute. Did you find that reference? Perhaps you can just, when someone says something which is a little, I don't know, controversial, it is controversial, it's good to prove the authority. So we'll ask the presiding deity, besides Radharadhanath, of the temple here, to speak.
I just want the reference for you.
Huh?
I thought you want to read the reference.
I want you to read it. I want you to face everyone with strong determination. You can look at the ladies and speak forth.
The talk of Dr. Prabhupada. As far as the women are concerned, they are accepted as a power of inspiration for men. As such, women are more powerful than men.
Got that? Women are more powerful than men. You got that? Haripriya? You got that? Women are more powerful than men.
Mighty Julius Caesar was controlled by a Cleopatra.
Julius Caesar, right.
Such powerful women are controlled by shyness. Therefore, shyness is important for women. Once this control valve is loosened, women can create havoc in society by adultery. Adultery means production of unwanted children known as Varna Sankara to disturb the world.
So the thank you, Haribo. So the shyness was Krishna took that shyness for the sound of his flute. And ordinarily they wouldn't be going out late at night in a forest. But their shyness was plundered. Gahita, it was exploited, it was taken away. And they ran to where Krishna was, unseen by each other. And then it mentions how their earrings were going back and forth, back and forth. But Vishwanath also mentions not just the earrings, their armlets. Avalayam nipuranam kinkinam cha yusitam. Their ankle bells. You know, they wear ankle bells and beautiful armlets, these very beautiful earrings. And it made a tumultuous sound. It's in the Bhagavatam. It made a tumultuous sound, deafening sound. So when they're running towards Krishna, there's a very intense feeling of separation. And this is called Dakshin Bhav. It's called Dakshin Bhav. But as soon as they see Krishna, it changes to Vama Bhav. and they become a little reserved. So this is the spiritual world. It's full of emotions. In this material world, there are so many emotions. Despair, despondency, anger, so many, laughter. And then laughter, there's many degrees of laughter. There's like slight laughter. There's, it's from the Bhagavatam, there's like 7 different types of laughter. And then there's another laughter where the eyes also squint. Then another type of laughter, more loud. And then a type of laughter where you move up and down. And then the ultimate laughter is where you start jumping up and down. This is all from Bhakti Samhita Sindhu. Now, I'm not making it up. Different types of laughter. So when I was thinking about this, I was thinking one time we were doing the tent campaign, and we did a play, and we asked a congregational member to take part in the play, and he was a very wonderful devotee. I've already said it's a he, but I can't give you any more. So, very nice devotee, very nice devotee. And he had to play someone who was a little, stupid. You may have heard that character, Mr. Bean. He had to play sort of someone a little bit like Mr. Bean. And that's Rowan Atkinson. He lives in Oxford. It's where I come from. Sometimes they see him out shopping and stuff like that. So this devotee played the part of someone who was a little slow. But the point was that he was a little slow anyway. And he played the part of being a little slow so well, I couldn't stop laughing. And I laughed so much, I got heartburn. If you laugh a lot, you get heartburn. I was laughing so much because he did it so well, because he was typecast. So laughter is an emotion, then anger, then fear, anticipation, so shyness. These are all there. They all come from the spiritual world. And they're all there in Adi Ras. And what's the word Adi Ras mean? The original Ras. And what is the original Ras? Adi. Shringara Ras, Madhurya Ras, the love of Radha and Krishna. That's Adi Ras, the original. And from that, everything else comes. That's Salya Ras, Mother Yasoda, Sakya Ras, cowherd boys, Dasya Ras, servant. Then Ayodhya Bhav, Vaikuntha Bhav, all of this comes. But the original is simply Adi Ras or Shringara Ras, conjugal love. So Krishna plays his flute, Grihita, it seizes the minds of the gopis. And then they run to where Krishna is to reclaim, as Vishwanath says, their stolen goods. So these pastimes are going on not just in the month of Kartik, but every day. Every day they're going on. And even in this material universe, not this Brahmanda, but in some other Brahmanda, these pastimes, Rasa Leela and Damodar pastimes, they're going on right now. Right now as you sit here. And we have to tune in. When you tune in and become more purified and more advanced, you can experience these things. They take place within the mind. You see them. So that is Prakat Leela, Aprakat Leela. Prakat Leela means here, And apricot means Goloka Vrindavan. So apricot lila manifests in your mind. Mm. And you can't do it with intelligence. You can't go, all right, I'm gonna really concentrate. I'm gonna get up at 1 a.m, if not earlier. I'm gonna take a cold shower, like a cold shower, and I'm gonna say my Gayatri and I'm gonna chant and something's gonna happen. It doesn't work like that. That's called using your intelligence. No, it comes by mercy. Simply by mercy. And mercy descends from above. But still, we should pray for these things and we should try. There's no harm in getting up at 1 a.m. There's no harm if your health allows to take a cold shower and chant good rounds. But that doesn't mean you're going to get some taste. But if you don't do it, you'll never get a taste. So you have to do it. What is the example Prabhupada gives? So-and-so, they were awarded a honors degree, and they didn't do anything. They didn't study. Like Nelson Mandela was given so many awards, just because of who he is. So he didn't study. So if you think, all right, I'm not going to bother with UNISA, I'm not going to bother with the university and all that stuff. No. I'll just sit here in my room, turn the TV off, because it's finished now, rugby. Oh no, cricket's coming now. All right, I'll watch it now and again. And I'll just wait for this mercy to come down through the ceiling, to come onto me, onto my head, and then I will experience or realize some of Krishna's pastimes. It doesn't work. It's not like that. You have to work hard. So that's sadhana, and that is what we're doing. We are doing sadhana bhakti, coming to the temple, fasting, bowing down, chanting fixed number, fixed, fasting on certain days, observing festivals, preaching, studying, trying to understand philosophy, if we're that way inclined. Some of us aren't. But if we can, we try to understand philosophy. We have to make an attempt. We have to make an attempt. So this is, as you probably know the story, when Mother Yasoda is chasing after Krishna, always the rope is 2 inches or 2 fingers short. So those 2 fingers, one is your attempt at trying to capture Krishna, which you can't do, and the other is the mercy. So when these two come together, then perfection, you can get somewhere. So they both have to be there. You have to try, but also it's dependent on mercy. And then Prabhupada further explained the cat philosophy and the monkey philosophy. The cat is picked up by its mother, the kitten. It's carried. The kitten doesn't have to do anything. So that's called mercy, kripa. Kripa patra. Kripa patra. We become the object of mercy, kripa patra. And the monkey is always holding on. So the baby monkey has to hold on. So that's your effort. That's your effort, which is called sadhana bhakti. And that's what we're doing. And that's what Prabhupada taught us. Shishi Radha Radhanath ki jai. Jagannath Subhadra Balaram ki jai. Nitai Gaura Hari ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. So, you must have lots of questions. Yes.
Yes.
Lord Chaitanya is the only way to enter into topics, yes.
Sometimes in practice, it's also always more to show that.
Yeah, but yeah, Yata Gora Padara Vinde Srila Prabhupada Saraswati. First Lord Chaitanya, Gaur Leela, and then Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhi. Nidhi means ocean of Radha Ras. So there is a sequence, but we can also meditate on Lord Chaitanya visiting Vrindavan, and he did. Chapter 18, Madhya Leela, he discovers Radha Kund, and then he goes to Kusum Sarovar. So it's Lord Chaitanya and Vrindavan. So you're mixing the two together now. It's Vrindavan, Krishna, Lord Chaitanya. And then he went to Manasi Ganga. He went to that famous temple on the hill in Manasi Ganga. And apparently he spent 3 nights there. And he was with 2 associates, the Sanariya Brahmin and 1 assistant. A name is never given. There's no name ever given. It's just called a Brahmin assistant. So, of course, you can think perhaps in some future life, I can become that Brahmin assistant. Doesn't matter, you're a lady or a man in this life, and you can assist Lord Chaitanya. He would dance Manasi Ganga, and then he walked around Govardhan Hill. So yes, Lord Chaitanya is the entrance. It's a fact. So we serve Lord Chaitanya and his Sankirtan mission. And when our service becomes somewhat mature, we see Lord Chaitanya as Radha and Krishna. And then we see then it goes, when it's even more mature, we see Lord Chaitanya in Radha Bhav. So there's a sequence. Now you can't jump. You can't say something just to impress some other devotee or to impress your guru or something. That's cheating. You have to be who you are. My godbrother, Sridhar Swami from Bombay, he said, be who you are. Be who you are and make your own offering. Just be who you are. Because if you pretend something you're not, you're going to be in trouble, isn't it? There are many Vaishnavas who took sannyas eagerly from Prabhupada. But unfortunately, they couldn't maintain it. That was before. Now it's changed. And the sannyas council within ISKCON is very strict and very check and balance and all this and stuff. But before, there was the one devotee, Paramahansa Swami, and he took sannyas. Either he was 18 or 19. It was in 1972 when Prabhupada was at Radha Damodar. And Prabhupada saw him, Shishi Radha Radhanath. Prabhupada saw him chanting, and Prabhupada just asked him. It's 1972. It's called the Nectar Devotion series. It's quite a famous series. So Prabhupada was staying there at Radha Damodar. We didn't have Krishna Balaram temple then. And Prabhupada just asked him, what service are you doing? And he said, I'm a book distributor, and I want to go to Vietnam, distribute books, because at that time, the Vietnam War was going on. And Prabhupada was so impressed. Prabhupada himself said, do you want sannyas? And one account says he was 19, Prabhupada Lilamrita, and the other mentions he was possibly 18. So let's just take a 19-year-old boy. Do you think he's ready for sannyas? I don't think so. So Prabhupada, he was shaken. He was surprised. Prabhupada's asking me. So he said, I have to think about it. So 2-3 days later, he came to Prabhupada's secretary, it was Tamal Krishna Maharaj, one of them. Yes, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, yes, because he himself took sannyas in Jaipur in 1972. And he said to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Prabhupada offered me sannyas, and I want to take it. And they all laughed. Everyone laughed. You're having dreams. So somehow the Prabhupada got to hear, and Prabhupada said, no, I offered him to take sannyas. And he took sannyas, and his name was Paramahansa Swami. And I remember meeting him in 1973 in London. But unfortunately, his material desires got the better of him, and so he became a little bewildered, but still, he made tremendous advancement, and he helped Prabhupada, and he'll take birth in the spiritual world just for that little service. Anything else you'd like to ask? So just remember this, that as a class, women are more powerful. Men, please just say this, more powerful than I am. Don't forget it. Any other, you want to ask anything else? Yes, a powerful lady is going to speak. And the powerful father.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your reply. I want to ask, you spoke about Mani and Krishna and how two figures who thought how one figure was Krishna's mercy. Is it possible that you could keep trying and trying and the mercy won't come?
Is it possible that one can keep trying? It may come, it may not come. Because bhakti is yaduricha. Yaduricha, viduyakandambini, comes of its own accord. Bhakti is non-different from Krishna. Can you make Krishna appear? He comes when he wants to, isn't it? So bhakti is yadricha, which means comes of its own accord, or swa-prakash. Prakash manifests when it manifests. So actually bhakti is the cause of bhakti. Sadhana is not actually the real cause of bhakti. This is word for word. Viduyakandamini. So then you might say, all right, now sadhana is not the real cause of bhakti, but you have to do sadhana. But it's not the real cause of bhakti. Bhakti is the cause of bhakti. So you're all devotees. So what does this mean? In your past lives, some or other you came in contact with bhakti. So you saw Tulsi Devi. You went to a Jagannath temple. You took some prasad. Maybe you heard some associate Vaishnav. So therefore, I have this theory, which is really my own theory, that you can't come in contact with bhakti if you live outside of India, at least 60 or 70 years ago. Would you agree? There's no Tulsi plants or deities in the West. Vaishnavas were not there. In 1933, the Bhaktisiddhanta's 3 disciples went. But let's say 100 years ago. Where's the bhakti you come in contact? There is no bhakti. You have to go to India, Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri. Therefore, I've got this theory that you were all living in India in your last life. It's my theory. And you probably came in contact with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta in the Gaudiya Math, or in South India, something. You came in contact, Tulsi, or you bowed down. So you did some bhakti, unknowingly. You don't have to know what you're doing. It can be agyata, sukriti, unknowingly. And then this accumulates like a bank account. And then when it comes to a certain amount, you're allowed to associate with devotees. And all of you started associating with devotees. So we have to do sadhana. But sadhana is not the real cause of bhakti. And this is Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, Madhurya Kandambini. Maybe just one example I can finish to make you understand a little. Let us say you're thirsty. And I have water. But unless you ask for it, I won't give it to you. So you have to ask for it. So that's sadhana. You're asking, you're begging, you're crying for it. But that person still may not give you the water. Am I correct? I mean, they may have misunderstood or maybe looking the other way or something or other. But if you don't ask for it, you'll never get it. But even if you ask for it, it doesn't 100% mean you'll get it. And here's an example. So sadhana is not the real cause of bhakti. Bhakti is the cause of bhakti, and the word is yaduricha, which is discussed by Vishwanath and Madhurya Kandambini. It comes of its own accord. So really, we're very much dependent on kripa. But we think, I'm doing this, and I chanted 25 rounds, and I fasted, and I did 64 rounds. And I gave out so many Bhagavad Gitas. But actually our position as devotees, or aspiring devotees, it's due to kripa. But there's different types of kripa. So I'll just give you another example. All right. A hungry man comes to your house in Chatsworth and knocks on the door and says, I want food. Give me food. So you give them a 10 Rand note. I don't know, do they still have 10 Rand notes? Yeah. You give them some money and they go and buy. Then another man comes to your door, knocks on your door, because you're living now in you've gone up a little bit now. So where are you living now on that side? Huh? No, that's still down. No. Mshlanga's too high. You're living sort of between Chatsworth and just here. Melbourne, yeah. So knocks on the door, and then you give them some food. So now you're not giving them money, you're giving them food. Is that also mercy? Yeah. Then you've decided to move to Mshlanga, and you're living in the Pearl. I don't know how you manage that. And someone knocks on your door, they say, I'm hungry, give me food. So then you say, well, I just came from the temple, New Jagannath Puri. And here's some Mahaprasad. Now, that's also mercy. Would you agree? So now we have 3 different levels of mercy. So then you decide, all right, I'm finished with them, Shlanga. It's a little too busy. I'm going to Belito Bay and have my garage, 3 garages, big swimming pool, sauna bath. And someone knocks on your door in Belito Bay. They say, give me food. And you say, well, I've just come from Radharanath, and I have some prasad that was taken by Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, by Ram Govinda Maharaj. I have some prasad. And this is called Maha Prasad. Take it. Now, each one is mercy. You can see different levels. So we are the objects of mercy. The very fact that we're sitting here and we're able to chant Krishna's name and offer the lamps, that's simply that special mercy coming from Lord Chaitanya, specifically coming from Srila Prabhupada, and now we're embracing that mercy, and we should try to give it out to others if we can. And that's preaching. Anything else? Is that all right? Ansa? So we're going to offer the lamp, offering our heart. Thank you very much. May Lord Damodar bless all of you, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so we can get more Kripa Patra, become the objects of this mercy. Go Premanandi, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.